gonna be the first lecture. Hello. Hello. Good morning, David.
Good morning, sir. What's up?
Everything good? You can take two choices, either producer or artist section. Which one do you want? Perfect.
Artist, sir. Producer, not already
Good morning, sir.
dealing with software.
Huh? All with software. Two sections, either producer or artist.
So can I keep this a bit?
Yeah, so people can see and you can
Yeah.
also see me, So which section do you want to go to? Producer or artist?
Producers, as in we produce something, and artists are the players actually play.
Yeah, of
Laptop
course.
for instrument.
Not always, but we will get to those a little bit. Hello? Yeah, come in. What's your name? Roshan.
Yeah.
All right. So which section do you want to go in? Artist or producer?
I think I go with producer.
Producer?
Yeah.
Is this way. Please come over. Cool. We're gonna look into the roles and look into some of the projects as well, some of my projects as well. And then the plan is to record, but it depends, on certain scenarios. Yes. We wait for 2 more minutes, not more than 2 minutes. Yeah, clock is ticking. That hits right at 5, I'm gonna begin. Hello. Hi. 2 ways to go. Either you're an artist or you're a producer. Which one are you? You can also be an artist and producer and have a seat and stand in the middle. Or sit in the middle. Both. Yeah? 10 more seconds, then we begin, okay? Have good breakfast, all of you? Having a good time, every one of you, those who are for the camp?
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoying learning? Perfect. So, recording preparation. The first thing which I want to begin with is, and I will also end with this, is between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our responses lies our growth and freedom. This is a statement by Viktor Frankl, who was a psychotherapist, doctor, great man, with a lot of work. So, this is going to be something very important for your production throughout your life as an artist, as a producer, as an engineer, wherever you want to work. You have a scenario. Let me explain this. You have a scenario. You have a certain amount of time between which you are ready to take the next step according to what you think is right or wrong or whatever you want to do. Right? And that defines who you are. As a producer, an artist, a person. 2 ways to go, my friend. Either producers or artists. Which one do you want, please? Hello, 2 ways to go. Either producer or an artist. Artist, alright. A lot of artists. Cool. Sir, 2 ways to go. Either you can go to the artist section or you can go to the producer section. Perfect. So, between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose a response. In our response lies our growth and freedom. Alright? It's a very difficult thing. You have a choice, and then you decide what action you want to take. Yeah? And the studio or live performance, everything is going to be filled up with scenarios where you have to decide, what am I going to do? because that is real life. All your lessons are not going to work like you think it's going to work. It's going to take turns. Good, bad, everything. And you have to be aware. Trouble should be aware. Hello. So, what is different when you record? Who can tell me this? First, why do we record? Anyone?
To make records.
To make records.
Yeah.
So,
Produce records.
to produce records. But why do we produce the records?
Showcase our music.
Showcase our music to the world. Okay. What else?
I record my songs because I want to hear that what I did some mistakes on,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can do the
You can make better. Yeah. You can increase your artistry. Of course. Anyone else? For memories. Recordings first began from memories. To contain information. To remember those information. Go back and check those things. That was the main aim of recording. Then came the revolutions, the digital, last before that, all those lanes of revolutions, you know. After edition started the first photography and stuff, a lot of history down there. But the main thing about recording is the memory of someone doing something. Great music, bad music, nice music, questionable music, but it's memory. You want to store it. Now you store it according to a digital, medium. Before it was different mediums. The mediums change, but the concept stays the same. Now after you have recorded, you might feel, okay, I like this. Then you go and you produce it and make it to the world and earn from it, right? The first thing is the memory. You want to know what it is, right? And so what difference, what happens when you record? What do you record? You record some chords, music, but within all these layers, Shraddha, you can take two roles, either producer or an engineer, or an artist. Engineer is something I'm going to talk about as well. Right? There are three roles which will go into it. So yes, what is different when you record? You don't only record your chords or your voice or stuff, no. You record your consciousness, your emotions. If a track was only recording chords, all songs would be the same. No, it's the way you play, the dynamics, this, that, so many musicality. With that, the emotion, the personality, everything expressed with your voice, your practice, throughout the yourself doing everything, right? And these things you have to keep in mind as a producer, as an artist, as an engineer, always in our mind, keeping and rolling, and thinking about it, of course, and which roles we can take. It's all together or separate. Now, previously, of course, we go into that. So, of course, you are here as an artist, as a producer. Doesn't the role sometimes need to change? What do you think as a producer? Yeah, what do you mean by producer?
You can produce basically a good track of it.
Of course. Creativity. Yeah. And what do you think is the artist side? Expression. Personal.
Brings that idea.
Yeah. The idea to life, of course. So emotion, expression, production. Next part. Production is a huge role, artist a huge role. But the two places stand together sometimes, and you create something and you produce by yourself. And you also engineer. What is engineering? You're plugging the door, plugging the microphone. This is engineering, the simplest form. Then you engineer in that room over there we have, and you have many connections. That's a next type of engineering when you have a big console, you have the DAW, you have to set up the input list and stuff, and there are many things. We'll talk about those. And so 3 roles: artist, producer, engineer. Sometimes all 3 together, sometimes 2 and 1. That's producer and engineer and artist. Sometimes producer and artist and engineer is someone else. Sometimes all 3 is separate. And usually 3 separate things are not always 3 persons. If your project is bigger, everything will multiply, right? And engineers who work with you, you have more people who produce you in the steps of production, or one producer as well, so grand producer, and many artists working with you at the same time for a project, right? So for engineers, before that, discipline for the session. Can you see? I didn't make any crazy slides, but just wrote things so that we can see things very clearly. So discipline for a session is a very important thing. All of you must know your roles before you enter a studio and record something. Or if you're at home and recording, then also you need to be very efficient with your roles, thinking about it before you start recording. Otherwise, you're gonna go on for 2 hours and think, next day again, it's gonna be a little longer. And next day you become a vocalist because you give up production and I'm only gonna sing it. That's gonna be there. Only the ahs. But the thing is, of course, the balance of knowing what I wanna do and the discipline to have it before you're starting the session, right? Next, speed is not always the target. Of course, if you think that your process takes time, take time to build it up until you go to the studio. Are we on the same page? Everyone is understanding what I'm saying? Parag, artist or producer? Perfect. Another thing, most important, last one before engineers, breath. Ooh. You're working for a long time, something is happening, something is not happening. If it's happening, take a good breath. If it's not happening, take a breath. You gotta refresh your mind immediately. Don't go working. Yeah. I'm gonna go into the roles. Engineers. Knowing the DAW. Usually engineers are working with the DAW when the artists are singing or playing instruments, and the producer is thinking about the project, the way, the emotion. Usually producer has a lot of work. It's not only 1 or 2 work, many things together. So the artist, the producer is in their work, and the engineer is setting up the DAW, the tracks, all the places where the microphones go. That's the second point. And the third point is making a space and making a floor plan. So if you want to record over here, like I have 2 microphones, what are the things you want to hear? There are noises. Let's see. What do you want to hear? Of course, you should go. Steps, yeah, but you might not move. That's one of the most important things. We want to tell the artist, hey, guys, don't do jumping jacks over here. It's gonna go crazy. If people have a lot of bangles and stuff, we will say before recording to take it off, not put sound, a lot of things in there. But yeah, to inspect the space, acoustics, yeah, then you move and you see which corner of the room you might record. Do you want to record there? Maybe you get a bass overload. You want to go to that piano super near? Maybe the piano and the voice won't match over there if you have vocals. So where do I place? How do I place the instruments? That's going to fall in inspecting a space and making a floor plan. The floor plan is when you have a plan of this room, and then you place, I'm going to have the piano there, this one here, this one here, this one here. And you do this on the day of the recording?
Months before this.
Months?
Years before that.
Year is like too much, man. How will you know in 2025 where you gonna go? Tell me. You know which studio you're gonna go and record?
But if we have a plan, then I mean we have a deadline that by this much time I want to complete this.
So in 2025, you will go and record that day, taking a project 2 years ago.
That's not decided.
And your producer is going to give you 2 years ahead. I'm going to finish a project. Boom. Usually they give time like 2 months, 1 year if you're doing a film. If you're doing universal inter-galaxy film, then I think you can get 2 years. Like someone from a different planet has given you a project, then they can give you 2 years, okay. But this planet, not so much. And Troy, who knows the film Troy? Yeah. So Troy's music director did the music for 1 year, and then it was released. When they didn't like it, one day chance, and the next day, our music director was James Horner. Have you heard about him, James Horner? Yeah, Titanic,
Yes.
and all these movies. He came into the scene. He finished in 1 month. He finished in 1 month, like he finished everything in like 3 weeks, and then one week to just produce it, recorded everything done. So this is speed which you need. Alright. Although I said speed is not everything, for you guys to now to begin, but later you have to fast up many processes. You know? Alright, so and this is another important thing. Knowing the genre of music you're going to record and choosing the right setup. So I'm talking everything under engineering. Please don't forget that. So if you're engineering, one day as an artist also you can take like small projects, you know, you have time, you want to engineer because you did courses in SAM, you know everything about production, you came to me. And the beautiful part about this is, you know the genre of music, you will understand what it's about. You know metal, you want to free up the space. And you will see that I need more space over there. Either producer or artist. Which way do you want to use?
Producer and
I like this place. Okay, you can take a chair and sit. No, you can come in this section as well. Yeah, and we spoke about this already. Hearing background noise, identifying them, and then eradicating them. How can you eradicate? You use gobos sometimes to put in certain places to block sounds from that direction. If you have a drummer playing, a vocalist playing beside, it's not a good idea. Drummer and bass can be a good idea to separate them from the other section of the instruments which you have in space, you know. And so, these are some of the things you might think about. Artistic decisions. If you see Beatles recording, they have a lot of beautiful ideas how they recorded the guitars when there were not so much technology and stuff, you know? And that's the reason they were one of the best. Even today, their music stands out. But the more artistic innovation you have doing engineering, the better it's going to attract. You know, you have. Let me give you a good example. You guys know that you can record a guitar amp. Who knows that? You know that, perfect. So you want a natural reverb. Reverb. And what do?
You can put them in a hall and then you can record
From the other hall, the other section of the part of the hall. Or you can keep the room door open and put a microphone outside. It's going to far. It's going to come. You can amplify it, you can do anything stuff to that, process it. It's going to give you a good tone. You might not use that tone to the fullest volume. You keep the volume low in the mix. But you will have a beautiful essence of your guitar, which is very natural. And you feel as a person who's playing right in front of you in inner space. You know? So like that. It's regarding things. Using available microphones effectively, not one mic can do all things. Yeah. I cannot record everything with this room microphone. 2 room microphones, but not everything. Might not be a good choice. You know, you have to listen. Okay, this is happening, this is not happening. Take decisions. And having the shortcut commands ready. Your best friend is Command Z. Have it ready every time. Whatever is going crazy, that's it. But don't do it too many times. Some days ago, Pratham did it too many times and he could not revive his session, and finally he said, delete everything. So that's gonna be too much. For that reason, saving the session is gonna help you a lot. Keep it saved, save multiple copies after a certain amount of time. If you put that on Pro Tools and you let Pro Tools know, it will automatically save after a certain number of times. It will keep saving by itself. You don't have to save it. Alright, and then you go back to the time, open that session, and revive your work which you think you haven't done. Alright. Cool. Producers, knowing your top, of course, whatever the engineers know, whatever the artists know, producers have to have some idea what is going on. Otherwise, it's gonna be crazy. And a good producer knows everything. Everything which is going, because that is your house, the studio. You know ins and outs. You know all the troubleshoot. You know where things are going. You know the emotions which is happening. Let's talk about it. Understanding the artist who is going to be coming to the recording. Is it important for
I
you?
think we
Yes, most
maybe
important.
set the mood lighting and all before they come.
Yeah.
They can feel at home.
Yeah. Sometimes you also ask, hey, what's the lighting like? So they might like some perfume. I like lilies, for example. They say you, and you put a perfume according to that. You set up the mood, and they feel like, yeah, this is a studio. I want to come back. And these guys, already, you know, because they know that this artist like this. I'm gonna give that environment. They'll come back to me every time. And it's a relation. Producer-artist is a big relation. You begin and the relation goes on for ages and years. Quincy Jones has a relation with all the artists. And even now he's producing many artists. So, knowing when to stop a take or take a cut. Say a cut. Important? Super.
Don't want to sing, but keep on singing when you want to sing.
No, this is the other way.
Or you could keep recording to get new ideas. Right? When you go to the studio, you want the recording to be on. You get some new ideas, you don't want it to be saved.
Oh, is it? But the thing is, you never say the artist to stop. If you haven't pressed the record and they are singing, then you sing. Otherwise, you let the artist go on. Would you guys like if I'm taking a take and suddenly I press, hey, this is, can we take it again? You go, oh, chill in, man. I need to record. What mood? You feel a little bit of distracted from what you had because you are saying an emotion. So in that second, we won't win because our computer should have the storage to go on for a long time without deleting anything. Because you don't know which syllable was so perfect that you might have to choose later. But we will do one thing, that is making a take sheet. I will tell you that later to make things simple. But we don't always say cut to an artist. We let them go. Because maybe that take, which you will definitely throw away, will give them the vibe and perfection for the next take, which is perfect. Yeah? So, and also, how to do a humble approach that, can you take this once more so that the emotion is still same about the song, not hurting the other person, hurting that person also, even things like this. And keeping the mood of the artist very stable, immerse in the expression you're in. If you feel it's going away, say, hey, another song is about this. So maybe we go deep into it once more. Let's rethink. It's like this. Having a lead sheet or score of the song right in front of you makes sense. You have to know where all of us are. In which part of the song. You hear a chord is not working. And you go like, 2 minutes, 5 seconds, can you fix that? Because you have everything in the time. He goes, 2 minutes, 5 seconds, what are you talking about? Which bar? 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Okay, which bar? Bar number this, you see in Pro Tools, but they say like, something can you miss. So you have better to have a lead sheet, super in front of you. If you are recording with a metronome, things are cool. If you're not recording with a metronome, you might not have the exact same amount of bar counts which is happening with them. You know? So think Things like this, and then having the lyrics ready as well, checking the words, if the words are perfect, or the words are going correctly. Right? Keeping track of session time. Not going so far with one artist, you cannot record the other, and you pay the same amount, you get half the work done. Not a good idea. Making a take sheet. Who knows what a take sheet is? Anyone?
Back of how many takes you have.
Yeah. What you do is you write take 1, 2, 3, like this goes on, and over here you make sections of the song. Intro, verse 1, chorus, pre-chorus, chorus, so on and so forth. And then you have take 1, cross, cross, right, very, very right, for example. And then you have the whole track of your things. What this helps is, even though you're not deleting anything, you can have a track of everything that happened, and you can choose one from here, one from there, one from here, one from there, and you can have everything organized.
So, this is done on the software.
This is done on paper.
Okay.
And if you have Google Sheet, Excel, you can do there as well. The process which helps you is you do like that. You keep that take sheet too. But of course, this is sometimes very difficult because there is another huge thing called editing. You know about that? And it takes months to be a great editor and years to be a professional editor. When you can really hear what is going on, cut the drum at exactly that second when the cymbal is not vibrating. You know, there is no overtone or anything from any drum or anything, and you cut it exactly there and you place it so that the whole emotion is coming. There's no something like that in the middle, right? Cool. Taking frequent breaks, taking breaks frequently. It's a good idea sometimes. If you see a session needs, the musicians are super concentrated, and you see, take a break, they're gonna kill you. No, you're not here for a break. If you see the session is going a little, people are getting tense, they don't know, take a break. And this job is for the lead, the band leader. You know what a band leader is? The person who leads your band. Or the producer. No one in the middle. Alright? Only these two people can suggest, let's take a take. The other can suggest, but they can say that let's take a take. That's kind of something very, very ethical and beautiful. And yeah, checking if the session is being saved correctly. You don't want 1 hour of work and boom, everything gone. You want to go a little bit faster. Playing back takes and giving constructive feedback to the artist. Artists are very soon. No more chairs for you guys. Sit over here. You guys are going to be producers. Okay? No more only artists.
Also, we
Oh yeah,
start for you.
yes, I love this. She's on the
Now,
phone. Ooh. So, understanding the psychology of an artist, I told you, always recording, no stopping. Keep hitting the record. Your computer space is not going to betray you if you have that part. If you have a good computer, don't think about doing it. Keep track of your takes. It's going to help you a lot. Next, playback and giving constructive feedbacks. This is something different.
So let's say if we are having a recording which does not have rests in between.
Yeah.
Like the music is going on, there is no specific cut in between.
Yeah.
So in that case, how would you recommend to take like do it on the take sheet, for example? How to get different segments, because the music is going on, and if we cut it, it's going to have that abrupt cut.
Yeah,
flow.
yeah. In that case, we choose according to the instruments. If we have a piano which cannot be done anything, then we do not touch the piano. We keep the piano exactly how it is. But maybe the guitar can be chosen, you know? So you choose that guitar only, you write that. And later, you you ask the pianist, hey, I have a better take for you. Do you feel this is good? If you say, no man, don't touch it. Alright. It's the artist's choice. When you edit, you are not going to decide. They are going to decide. When you mix and master, you are going to decide according to what their psychology is like. So, you get the point? But yes, some music, especially jazz, does not allow you to cut in the middle. It's got to be exactly the emotion, the mistakes, especially. If there is a beautiful mistake, you want to keep that. Right? So you have to get that balance, that where am I going to do what? Right? Especially in jazz recording, the work of a producer gets concentrated only on how beautifully you can mix the drum, how beautifully you can get the cymbals, how original can the voice be, so there is no effects, but still you have that crystal clear, beautiful essence of the vocalist. The guitar, maximum clean tones. Yes, sir? For jazz, maximum clean tones, right? Alex, you. Mostly clean tones, not too much of cries or stuff, no? You want clean tones and all the small articulations you have given. So there, your compression has to know that you know many things. The compression does exactly what we do. We know, I mean, right? So, next part is going to be artist. Write down your music. First thing, when you do anything, first write it down, lead sheet or score, can be simple scores. I want to show you some score stuff. Hand them to every artist in the room and to the producer. You don't have to send it to the engineer. He already has a lot of input list and this and that, a huge track in his mind. So don't bother the engineer, give it to the producer, have it with all the artists. It's gonna make the work so easy. And you think writing music is difficult, it's the most easiest part. Playing is the second. Performing is the third, going to the difficulty level. And being with your music for a really, really long time, then singing it with new emotions and expressions is the hardest part you are going to fix. You make a song today, tomorrow you must like it. The next day you must like it more. And it should go ahead. Yeah? And that will build your practice. Cool. Let's look at the next part. Practicing the parts well in advance, reading the tone that suits the song the previous days, not on the day of recording. Yeah? Next, rehearsing before coming to the session, everything is ready. No one knows nothing is not the point. Everyone knows everything is the point. Cool? Understanding the value of time. Every second is money in the studio. Right? Usually the producers fund projects as well. And many times they take money from people who wants their project to be done. They investors. And there is a budget. The budget says this much for the studio, this much for an artist. I haven't done the budget writing over there. The budget is another important point. The more we get, the less time is very short today. So the budget says how much you have for the studio. Maybe 8 rupees. How much do you have for the artist? Oh, come on. The artist, 8 rupees for the artist is gonna be too much. Then 1 rupee for the artist. So 10. How many artists do you have? Into 4. Then, for video, how much do you have? You take another, you take 12 maybe. You want the video to be, you want graphics, you want this, you want that, everything in the video, many things. So it's 12. What about our producers? They're gonna work, right? And engineers. So you have another 12 for them. And your budget goes on. The more you do, I'm pretty sure. Takes money, sometimes not. But for marketing, you have to have a good amount. How much per month?
30.
40 is 50. Oh!
20.
20 is pretty good. So, the budget cannot be pooled, anything. It has to have a ratio. According to how you're going. If you want this to be 200, guys, put a 0 beside everything. Makes sense. Not exactly going into numbers, but still, I'm giving you some idea on what the budget can be for your project to be what you want it to be. Now, your songwriting has to know that. I'm putting this budget, I have to be serious about my songwriting. If it's going to the world, it's gonna get money. Right? What about I put still not 2 years. That's too much. 1 year. 200 lakhs. Fine. But this amount, you become serious when you have that amount. And your daily routine changes. Every day changes. Cool. Next part. Keeping a composed attitude towards new invention. Can anyone say what that is? No?
Accepting towards the new, if there's a new invention in the field of sound production or something, or some new things come up with the instruments.
So it's basically welcoming change, right?
Be open to ideas.
Be open to ideas. It's very important for artists. The producer says, I feel this is gonna sound so good with your synth which you're using. No, I want this. No, I want to do that. Might be you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to think about it.
Flexibility.
Flexibility. Listen. Listen nicely. If it's working, it's working. And you just have to be accepting that fact. Next, if you think something is wrong, communicating during the recording process. Something is happening, you go on singing, and then after the process, this was not a good thing, I did not like it, I felt like this could have been done, that could have been done. No man, say it in the recording studio. We can fix it. All the artists can fix it. Everyone is there together. No blabbing about it there on that set. Right? Next, if you think something is wrong, then you are right. Something is wrong. Call for help immediately before moving ahead. I mean, you have the headphone. You are hearing, my voice is not like this. It's kind of, but of course, microphone voice is different. You have to accept that. But when I record, I feel this, but this is not comfortable. It's not happening. Immediately call them. You come to the studio, they'll check your headphone mix and decide, okay, this was the problem. And you check if you feel comfortable or not. Because artists need to be comfortable to give their full potential. Yeah? You have to believe that. You need to be 100% comfortable to give your full potential. That's the reason you wanna do some good sprays. Come on. Put sprays in the room, you need to feel comfortable. So close with everything. The flow, if you're standing somewhere, it's not making you, I cannot stand here, it's weird. Tell the producer to, or the engineer to shift the microphone. They will shift it accordingly. The distance, if you're singing, distance if you're playing with the guitar, where you're standing, it's making the drummer in my face or something else. So those things, standing, knowing, discussing where you are, having the floor plan, everything together. Believe in punch takes. Some artists just go on. I started singing, I will go on till the end. Not always the right thing, maybe. Punching in the middle sometimes helps. Harmonies, prepare for it beforehand. Don't research in the studio. Studio time is very, very valuable. Alright? Next, be open to suggestions, be confident and listen, accept the outcome. If it's good, be happy about it. Don't say I could do better. If it's bad, accept it. Yes, I did bad. I will do better in the next one. And then the producers are gonna take care of it. They'll say, okay, this is, you say bad, I'm gonna fix it. We have a lot of tools. We know crazy technology. We gotta make it so great, you cannot believe you gave a take like this. Yeah, we can do that, right? But believe in what you did. Just accept it. Right? Cool. Have a personality in which people can rely on. This goes for everyone. Every person in that studio should believe on what you're doing. For the engineer, the producer should believe. And the artist should believe. For the artist to be great is something great for the producer and engineers as well. They feel like, oh, I'm doing a great work with someone who is confident about his work. He doesn't have to be a star, but he may be a star, or she may be a star after 2 days if she's serious today. And that is what the engineers and producers look for. Same goes for the artist, you know. A good producer, artists rely on them like anything. You know, they'll come back to you only for that reason. When I work, he gives me great feedback. She gives me the perfect amount of emotion when I'm going ahead or too much emotional. She tells me, this is too much. Add a little bit of sadness to this. Add a little bit of, you know, raw emotion to this. This is becoming too smooth, too operatic. Maybe we don't want that. So, having that balance and the conversation. Okay, I'll give you some examples now. First examples for artists a little bit. How do you think about composition? What's the time as well? 15 minutes. Maybe we do not record. We just talk. What do you think about composition? What do you think when you compose? Do you compose before you record? Or do you compose while you record? Before. Sometimes both. Yeah. But if you are recording by yourself, it makes things easier. If you are recording with many people, it's a little complicated in the studio. And the influences which you have in different type of music, our producer is here, the influences in different type of music decides which type of recording you want to have. And you guys have to feel it. I'm going to give you some examples. Let me see what I have here. So this is one of my projects which I'm going to talk about. So I composed one song which was on Rag Bhatia. Who knows Rag Bhatia? Anyone knows Indian classical? None? Come on. Someone. Song is there by Rahman called Naina, used for filmed water. Naina, Naina, Neel Bahare, Naina. Yeah? So when I was composing this, I had this idea, and then what I did, I made the song. And I cannot hear it. Wait. What is there now? You have to tell me if you hear some mistakes. Alright? Not this buzz, this is from the speaker. Just say that you're here.
So I know that you feel for me. Just say that you like to see me smile, so that I know.
So when I was recording this,
I know that
what my
you
idea was
know me.
that I want to express this raga.
I hope all hope can reflect
When I was
through
recording
my
with Europeans,
eyes.
they don't know ragas. They know
I
scales.
hope all notes can
I
grab
can take them to a
me
movie.
to make
this
you
way,
smile again and smile again.
When you have this compositions, you want to
Every
express something.
single day is
A
like
story.
a song.
The story
And
should
the
be very
words
strong,
are
prominent,
just pros and
clear.
cons.
Might have many characters. Might have one character, one motive, one
It
target.
seems to me
But
a
the way you
new
express it
decade, but
is
the
your
words
you
are
feel
still frozen
what is the expression.
cold.
Is this something which I know?
I hope
Something I
all
don't know.
hope can reflect through my eyes. I hope all notes can grab me to make
So the more you want to explore,
you
very good.
again and
I
smile
played them a little bit, my verdict, because after this section, it went a little.
like I saw you first in the summer rain. I know I will know more of love. 'Cause every time I see you, I go younger in love.
This I did not play. My French friend. His friend also But my story has three characters. The first part was a character who is looking at the water. The second part is lost up in the water. The third part is a sannyasi. Three characters in one song. This sannyasi is looking in a valley in front of him, in front of the Himalayas. The sun is rising. And he's singing around Vadiyar. Because Vadiyar is our morning raga. First movement is the sunrise. Yeah? And I have this feel over here now. F, Vadiyar. It's a little tricky to say scales. It's like doing it in music. But I say it like a F to the flat line. F major to the flat line and sharp in the These are some clips from Valencia. Tell me. Sorry to pause.
So I was asking like during this song, so about the scale
Yeah.
and then the story. So like how do you think like as the third person perspective of that scale like
Yeah, I imagine thing in my mind.
because I feel like when I'm thinking of it, so I really want to think from the first person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It
like what comes first, like the scale or the storyline?
can be both, man. It can be the scale first. When I was thinking about the concept, then I had just something in my mind. And I want this feeling to be expressed. Then I felt, what if I create three characters who feel the same thing at a different time with different perspective? Sannyasi may feel like F with a flat 9, F major, sharp 11, flat 9, to be more specific. We have the both fourth and sharp 11. It's like two Ma's. So, and with that, the Homer rate, not the major 9, flat 9. And so, when I thought about it, I thought the three perspective, who can feel something that's same emotional, rising up, but the sannyasi is very calm and composed and he feels boom inside his heart. Not composed. The guy rockstar blows the microphone, kicks it off, and he feels the same thing. Another person who's an opera singer, he will feel it in a different way. He will feel the same thing, but its personality will create a different image, a different version of what it is. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of the part, the last part. Looks kind of like this, F flat, E flat, and all these things. And the only reason I can show you today is because I made a lead sheet that day. Yeah? Good. I want to go to another song which is another perspective, which is on Rag Charukeshi. You know Charukeshi? Good. Can anyone say me the scale definition? Tell me, sir.
1 major, 2 major, 3, 4 of 4, 5th, flat 6, flat 7, and
Yeah.
8.
Also put it like Charukeshi is certain type of a raga which can also be worked in as if you have a C Charukeshi and move it like that, also isolated with that 6, you can also call it as an F minor melodic. Melodic minor. So this one, the C root changes the whole perspective. So now my mind said, I don't want to make this a classical song the way it is. I want to go crazy. I want to make things complicated. So what I did, I mixed it in 2 parts. C Charukeshi, or C Mixolydian with flat 6. Second part is F Mixolydian with flat 6. So these 2 things, I'm just shifting into the 4. It's a very easy shift. So yours don't get very crazy. But in the middle, I found that there are certain things which is interesting. So I have, if I have these 2 things, it's going to be like. When I played the song now, this feeling gave me some idea when I was researching. I played a lot of wrong notes, a lot of correct notes, and my research said there can be something which I can try. Okay. Open intro. As a rumba feeling. 5 minutes to go, so super fast. You guys feel bored? Let me know. First part is building up this emotion of C Mixolydian with the flat 6. Flat 6. Second part F. Mixolydian with the flat 6. And then things go on. And the song begins. This is kind of jazz and classical together, so it's not very fast. Has that cool thing in the middle. Having a little bit of jazz vibe. The drum parts, not too much. You know, very careful when you're mixing 2 genres. You don't want to make both too much far away. More of improvs, still at that improv section. The scenario of this song is when those three artists, they are going into space travel and they're feeding the fire in the whole capsule which they are traveling. And they can see their planet or reach right in front of them. Right? So this is the intermediate change from where I'm taking to the left. Seventh accent. A little gloomy, the mysterious point, and the trombone comes in, gives some things. You know, when you go for space, there is time collisions in your mind. All space researchers, they have to go for a long time on this work because space creates collisions in your mind. So this place was kind of something like that which I was trying to express. All the collisions you're having in your mind and your emotions in space, getting questions of who you are, is this true? Was my planet true? In the middle of the song, what is this? These things. Now the shift happens. This is F. This is where we were making the song. I have a picture from that. Alright. I'm going to go into one last thing because we have only 2 minutes. No, we are on time. Alright, this is another one in Ram Kelly. You know the Ram Kelly? No? It has a beautiful thing. Just give me 10 seconds. I'm explaining it. After that, no one else? Both the knees and the ring, just go more, and which is flat. So, in this project, my approach was completely different. I have taken my audience to the planet where I am. It's with Ableton, with real artists singing it, 4 vocalists, 1 piano, nothing else, everything Ableton. So we have 2 minutes. Just play this song and we finish. See if you are hearing ingredients. All these sounds are Ableton. So the characters are now having this vigyan and all these words which they had from our planet to a different space where they are learning new things. The body is getting new things.
Those in which you dream and live, you see the memories
All the things related to
Threads of crown of destiny.
coloration of the lyrics,
Spectrum of
just to keep people on the same page. And okay, this is that. See everything. Apparently it's classical again. Only one scale. It's a wall, but the bed is like this, exactly like that. Everything hanging. Alright, the point I want to show you is before you have to go for the autumn workshop, that is, in this song, there is a lot of things happening. Can you see this person on the right side with the thing on the head? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to put you into focus a little bit.
How many notes are get upset?
All these tones you're hearing, this is a brainwave converter. This is converting brainwaves from his head, going into a certain type of program, changing it into Ableton, and Ableton is playing back synth sounds. Make sense? It's a very simple way I put it. It's a very complex mechanism, but we did the programming a little bit, and it's a beautiful thing. It still has a lot of glitches for real-time work, but the song I played before had some parts, which is this, and this is the live performance which we use. This is for reflections. All right. Questions? 5 minutes. Yeah, right side. Kelvin McCormick, also the winner of Nehru Grand this year. You know, ready? Nehru Grand.
Sounds that they produce like have their own scale with like
Of course. Of course. If that is not in scale, the whole point of making this is does not make any sense. I'm not going to use that. Same bye-bye forever. But you get it, right? All right, enjoy your day. See you later. Have a great day. All this project, guys, this was at Berkeley College of Music. All right. So that's where I did my master's in contemporary performance and production concentration. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, right now. Cool.
What last? Yeah, they got stable in the phone.
Yeah, that's something you should post. Abhisek.